1 Samuel 27. David thought to himself, one of these days I'm going to be swept away by the hand of Saul. There is nothing better for me than to escape to the land of the Philistines. Then Saul will despair of searching for me through all the territory of Israel, and I will escape from his hand. So David left and crossed over to King Akish, son of Moak of Gath, accompanied by his 600 men. David settled with Akish in Gath, along with his men and their families. David had with him his 2 wives, Ahinoam, the Jezreelite, and Abigail, the Carmelite, Nabal's widow. When Saul learned that David had fled to Gath, he did not mount a new search for him. David said to Akish, if I have found favor with you, let me be given a place in one of your country towns so that I can live there. Why should your servant settle in the royal city with you? So Akish gave him Ziklag on that day. For that reason, Ziklag has belonged to the kings of Judah until this very day. The length of time that David lived in the Philistine countryside was 1 year and 4 months. Then David and his men went up and raided the Gershurites, the Girzites, and the Amalekites. They had been living in the land for a long time, from the approach to Shur to the land as far as the land of Egypt. When David would attack a district, he would leave neither man nor woman alive. He would take sheep, cattle, donkeys, camels, and clothing, and would go back to Akish. When Akish would ask, where did you raid today? David would say, the Negev of Judah, or the Negev of Jerahmeel, or the Negev of the Kenites. Neither man nor woman would David leave alive so as to bring them back to Gath. He was thinking, this way they can't tell on us, saying, this is what David did. Such was his practice the entire time that he lived in the country of the Philistines. So Akish trusted David, thinking to himself, he is really hated among his own people in Israel. From now on, he will be my servant. Yes, Saul is a real piece of work there, Fenris. Yeah, he absolutely is. So David thinks to himself, and we had in the last thing, like, are you driving me away to the other nations? Is that what is going to happen? And then he indeed goes and does this. He tried to go to Gath before on his own. Now he has 600 men and goes to Gath. Again, why is he going to Gath? He killed Goliath of Gath. Wouldn't this be like the one Philistine town least likely to welcome him in? However, if you slayed our best guy, could we even stand against you? So, same king that he acted crazy for before, now he's not acting crazy. He brings 600 men. He goes there. Why he goes there, I don't know. Does David inquire of God? I always love asking this question because we don't get an answer and we won't know. But sometimes David inquires of God and he goes and he does things and they're good. Other times it gives us no inclination that he inquires of God. So either he doesn't or it doesn't matter. Either he inquired of God and he did go, or he didn't inquire of God and he did go. Either way, he goes. Okay, there is nothing better for me to escape to the land of the Philistines. So he escapes there. Then Saul will despair of searching for me, and that's exactly what happened. He crosses over, he goes to Gath, he has 600 men, and David is there. He brings his 2 wives, reminder that the wives are with him as he's traveling. When Saul learned that David had fled to Gath, he did not mount a new search for him. So he's out of country, so he's not going to go there. He's not going over to the Philistines to try to look for him. David says to Akish, if I found favor with you, let me be given a place in your country towns so I can live there. So David is asking for a place to live outside of the royal cities. Why is he asking outside of the royal cities? If he's in the royal cities, people will know what he's actually up to. So he needs a place that is hidden away. So he gets Ziklag, and for this reason, Ziklag has belonged to the kings of Judah unto this very day. I just love that phrase, until this very day. We have that all the way throughout the book of Judges. We get it a little bit here in 1 Samuel, but not very often. The length of time that David lived in the hill country, the Philistine country, was 1 year and 4 months. The Hebrew days, the plural of day, word day, is sometimes an idiom that refers to a year. So years and 4 months. Okay. Or sorry, days and 4 months. So a year and 4 months. Okay. Then David and his men went up and raided the Gershurites, the Girzites, and the Amalekites. They had all been living in the land for a long time, from the approach of Shur as far as the land of Egypt. So this is going to be all along the border, all of those people that are there that are not Israelites and that are not, Philistines. So other groups. So he's not attacking the Philistines. He's attacking other groups. When David would attack a district, he would leave neither man nor woman alive. He would take sheep, cattle, donkeys, camels, and clothing, and would go back to Akish. So he's out there raiding and doing this, and Akish would say, "Where did you go?" And he would say, "I went to the Negev of Judah, or the Negev of Jeremiel, or the Negev of the Kenites." So he's always saying the desert region of these places, the desert region. Neither man nor woman would be leave alive so as to bring them back to Gath. So he didn't even leave anybody alive to bring them back to Gath, because you would know they were not Israelites. So David did such as his practice was the entire time he lived in the Philistine countries. And because he's doing this, Akish is trusting him and thinking he is really hated among his own people. He keeps going and raiding his own people in Israel. So we've got that going on in David's realm there. So one of the interesting things here is that David does not leave man or woman alive. He's not taking people as plunder. And the reason is I can't bring them back to Gath. I will be discovered that I am being deceptive to Akish. He is protecting his 600 men. He is providing for them by raiding, because they're a band of warriors. They're on the run from Saul. So they do have a place to settle down in, but it's not necessarily like, oh, we can just settle and live here. This is only a temporary thing. So how does he provide? He goes and he raids other places. So he is going and raiding other cities around, and he's leaving no one alive. And some might be horrified by this. It does not give us judgment on this in the case of, did David do wrong by doing this? Did David do right by doing this? It doesn't tell us that. It also doesn't tell us God told him to do this. Okay, David is doing this in a manner to protect everyone that's there. Now, with the Amalekites, when that group was mentioned, I don't recognize the names of the other tribes, so they might be underneath another one of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Jebusites, the Girgashites. So I don't know if the Gershurites are underneath there, or the Gizerites are, or Girzites. I don't know these two groups of people. They don't get mentioned often enough that I remember them. So with the Amalekites, though, maybe there's a different treatment of those groups of people. But this is, again, one of those things where we take our modern perspective and we push it back into an ancient text. And, just saying that he doesn't leave anyone alive causes us to be horrified. We would talk about that as war crimes, killing women and children. It's not the way that things happened that in the ancient past. You either took people into slavery, you sold people into slavery, you made them your subjects in some way, so you could leave a puppet king and he would pay you, and he would be the one who would, oversee his own people and keep them under the thumb of another king. David is doing the things that are the standard of the day in the way that things are done. I don't want to judge David for this. I don't want to add on to that. I know lots of people want to say, look at the horrible things that are in the Bible. Yes, there are horrible things in the Bible. There are horrible things in life. I'm not going to get rid of every country that ever existed, because every country has had horrible things. It's part of what it means to be in a fallen world. So we should not be surprised by it. David is here in the mode of survival. This is one of the things he is doing in that mode of survival. And this is how he is trying to stay alive. So that's about all I can add and say in regards to that.